I want to read through some of what, one of my favourite things to do after we play a game of football the next day. The Echo, and see, this is the difference between me and the Echo, by the way. I will credit them for good stuff, and I'll call them out for the stuff I think they get wrong, but we don't exist in their eyes. But I want to read out one of my favourite things that they do, which is go through a lot of the media and get the written journalists take the day after a game. So I'm going to read you through some of what the written media have said about Liverpool's win last night. This is from Rich Jolly of the Independent. A penalty to win at the San Siro. Perhaps Mohamed Salah, wherever he was watching, reflected that he could have been taking it. Instead, with the Egyptian in exile, it was Dominic Szoboszlai who first took the spot kick on the right wing. First took his role on the right wing, and now his role as the spot kick specialist, who dispatched it brilliantly, despite my stupidity. And again, I apologise for that last night. I don't know how my brain said saved when the penalty went in. I think I must have been just so fearful and so used to shit not going our way lately that subconsciously, even though I seen the ball hitting the net, I said saved. Anyway, he said, and this was a brilliant win for Arne Slot. A brilliant night for Liverpool. Salah missed the chance to secure a famous victory. Because what started out as a calm after the storm and a quietly ordered performance became something more. Liverpool have beaten Arsenal and Real Madrid, but the context made this their best result of the season. Generous as the award of the penalty was, it produced an endorsement of a beleaguered manager. Slot showed he could win in Milan without Salah, without a host of others too. His name echoed from the top tiers of one of Europe's greatest grounds. Chanted by the Liverpool supporters in a week where Slot has been tested, he emerged triumphant and popular. So this is one take of what I'm saying about a bit of an over-glorification of Slot that I'm now seeing in the media. And it's really clear that this has been over-egged. It was a good win, but make no mistake about it, it was an even game and we got a bit of the rub of the green with a penalty. So yes, Slot got a tune out of the players, but some of the writing is just exaggerated again. This from Andy Hunter of The Guardian said Slot needed at the bare minimum a committed display from his team to counter allegations that Salah's criticisms are shared by others in the dressing room. He got commitment and much more. The visitors produced a vastly improved defensive performance and worked tirelessly to stifle a dangerous Inter team that have reached two of the past Champions League finals. A deserved point appeared to be Liverpool's reward until the video assistant referee sent the German official to the pitchside monitor to review Bastoni's infringement. Szoboszlai swept his spot kick high into Jan Sommer's top corner and Inter's 18-match unbeaten home win in Europe was over. The release for Liverpool was palpable. It all sounds a little bit too fairy tale-y. And again, where's the credit to the players? It's all about Slot. All of these articles are balanced on Slot and Salah. Slot and Salah. I don't see enough real credit for the actual players. And Mike McGrath, The Telegraph, writes, Arne Slot walked over to the Liverpool fans after the final whistle and saluted those in the top tier at the San Siro. They had chanted the Dutchman's name during this famous European win, which he masterminded in the fallout of the row with Mohamed Salah that threatened to rip the club apart. There is a complex dynamic between supporters, manager and the greatest goal scorer since Ian Rush, and one which has more twists in the next few days when the final game is played before Salah travels to the AFCON. But this night belonged to Slot. After keeping last year's Champions League finalists quiet, there was a winning penalty from Dominic Szoboszlai, which was more than deserved after a mature performance in Milan. Ian Lewis Steele of the Mail writes, for 88 minutes in truth there was little to write home about on the postcard sent back to Salah, and the Egyptian can still take solace from his sofa knowing that unlike the title of the 1971 James Bond film and accompanying Shirley Bassey soundtrack, diamonds are not forever. If they were, there might be no space for a right winger no matter what way he plays. That is because Slot has evolved his setup from the tried and tested way that won them the Premier League, and though a 4-4-2 diamond has thus far failed to sparkle in an attacking sense, it made them more solid and defensive foundations were the best part of this win. That I agree with. We were more solid, but some of the language just seems a bit exaggerated. You know, of course the fans are going to cheer on his name. They cheer Salah's name as well if he was there. So I don't. They're trying to push a narrative that I don't believe is actually the case. You know, I'm lucky enough to know many Liverpool fans, season ticket holders, non-season ticket holders, and the way the media have been writing about Slot, it's as if there's an unequivocal support of the manager blindly by everyone, and that there are no doubts whatsoever. There are. Make no mistake about it. Liverpool fans are not won over by Arne Slot yet. Winning the league title was incredible. But this season's been a shit show. And a win is welcome. But some of the over-glorification of that is just pandering. James said, "Hi Craig, the players lately never get told by the media how great they're doing, but all love for Slot." Exactly. And that's the point I've been trying to make, mate. This is very clearly an agenda in one direction. And the focus should be on the players. Because, you know, they went out there and they put in the shift. But I'm happy. As I said, I'm happy for the win. Ollie said, "Forcefully engineered chance, by the way. It was pretty quiet compared to when we normally hear. And it was half-arse chance." Look, they're always going to be supportive of it. You know? They're going to support the manager. And I guarantee if Salah played, they'd have sang his name. They sang Darwin's name. They're just great fans. It's as simple as that. You know, the Travelling Cop are brilliant and are supportive of everyone. And, you know, that's why our club don't boo during games, Trent issue aside. But it doesn't mean that they weren't really frustrated with that Forest loss, with that PSV Eindhoven loss. They really were. Mark Doherty, how are you, Mark? Said last night's performance reminded me a lot of our performance last season. Not outstanding and could have went either way, just papering over the cracks. That's how I feel about it as well. You know, it's a welcome win, but I've not seen the turning of the tide or anything like it yet. And there's a lot more to be done. L Stew said, "You have to understand, a fan in a stadium is paid a lot of money and will react depending on result." I don't get what your point is there, though. You can say, all I can say is the cop cheer Slot and always fans do. Mate, I know dozens of season ticket holders. And I can tell you categorically that the majority of them want Slot out. Doesn't mean they're not going to support him during a match, because they will. But, you know, there will be people in the chat who are season ticket holders or are scousers and will tell you. There isn't this overriding support of the manager like they would like us to believe. It doesn't exist. And I know so many people who would say to me, even in and around them inside Anfield, there was huge anger at the 4-1 loss, at the 3-0 loss. You know, that's just a fact, mate. It just is.